Welcome back to another beautiful math lesson. We are on the next page of that shapes packet, and it says 8th graders are selling t-shirts and caps to raise money. They earn a profit of $5 a shirt and $10 a cap. So we're going to write a little equation of $5 per shirt plus $10 per cap will equal the profit. Now, this could be your X, and this could be your Y. You could have the words, anything like that. Since it's saying to put P for profit and S for shirts and C for caps, following that would be 5S plus 10C equals P. To me, this green thing is the most beneficial and makes the most sense. So find the profit if 30 shirts are sold and 50 caps are sold. So that would be 5 times the number of shirts, which is 30, plus 10 times the number of caps, which is 50. So that's 150 plus 500. So the profit would be $650. And the next question says to find the profit of 15 shirts and 10 caps. So 5 times 15 plus 10 times 10. That would be 75 plus 100, so that's $175 of profit. And the last one, 5 times 12 plus 10 times 20 would be 60 plus 200, giving you $260 profit. So we're just plugging in points, finding profit solutions. The 5 pairs of numbers for shirts and caps that allow a student to make $600 profit exactly. So $5 per shirt plus $10 per cap needs to now equal $600. I think it's very easy to start with the two intercepts. So we'll do shirts and caps, this being your X and Y. If you plug 0 in for shirts, it's kind of like you are not looking at this at all. And then you would have 10C equals 60. So to solve for that, you would divide by 10, and you would get C equals 60. 10C equals 600, divide by 10, you get 60. If you plug 0 in for C, you're not even looking at this. So you have 5S equals 600. If you divide both sides by 5, 600 divided by 5 is 120. So 120 shirts would be the maximum amount of shirts. So I'm going to go back to the equation. 5S plus 10C equals 600. You could put this in y equals mx plus b form by subtracting the 5s from both sides. So 10c equals negative 5s plus 600, and then dividing everything by 10. You could just do guess and check to get some more points that work. So negative 5 over 10 is negative 1/2 s plus 60. And then you could plug in 10 for s. So negative 1/2 times 10 is negative 5 plus 60 is 55. And then if you plug in 20, negative 1/2 times 20 is negative 10 plus 60 is 50. So as you're going up by 10, you're going down by 5, and that's how you get the slope of 1/2, rise over run. So you could continue that pattern. 30 would then give you 45. 40 would give you 40. 50 would give you 35. 60 would give you 30. At any point, you could plug this in and see if it actually works. 5 times 60 plus 10 times 30, does it give you 600? Well, this is 300 and this is 300, so we know things are still working. So we have more than 5 points. And now we're going to plot these points. So our very first point was over 0 up 60. So over 0 up 60. And then over 20 up 50. And over 30 up 45. Over 40 up 40. And this doesn't go all the way over to 120. But it's kind of nice that that's the ending point. And over 60 up 30. So I just sort of went out to 120, and this is all of the good data that works. It should be a perfectly straight line. So is there a pattern? And the answer is yes. Remember, we've already solved for C by subtracting 5s. And dividing by 10. So we know that the unit rate is 1/2. So as the shirts go up by 1, this is shirt sales. This is cap sales. This equation is telling you that as the shirt go up by 1, the cap goes down by 1/2. So if you sell 0 shirts, you have 60 caps, and for every additional shirt sold, there's 1/2 less cap sold. So it doesn't actually make sense to connect the dots because you can't sell half a cap. All right, we're going to graph each of these. Now you can graph them with the x and y intercept. You can put these into y equals mx plus b. I know we've done both ways. If you plug 0 in for x and just sort of cross off the x there, negative y equals 5, so y would equal negative 5. If you plug 0 in for y, that would be this being 0, then x equals 5. And then you could just plug another random number in, or you could solve this, put it in y equals mx plus b. You would then need to divide by -1 to get the negative in front of the y gone. So the equation is y equals 1x minus 5, and that tells you that you start at -5 and then you go up by 1. So 1 would give you -4, and 2 would give you -3, and 3 would give you -2. And 4 would give you -1. So you start at -5, your slope is 1, so it's the diagonals, and this is your other intercept. So the next one, the x-intercept. If you plug 0 in for x, y is equal to 10. If you plug 0 in for y, x is equal to 10. If you solve this for y equals mx plus b and subtract x, you have y equals negative x plus 10. That means as x goes up by 1, y goes down by 1. So 1 would give you 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5, 5, and so on. So you start at 10, go down by 1, the diagonals. You're going to connect the dots. And feel great about yourself. Okay, the next one, you can get your two intercepts. If you plug 0 in for x, this would be gone, and y would be equal to 3. And if you plug 0 in for y, you would have to divide by 2, and x would be 3/2, which is 1.5. And if you solve this for y, put this in y equals mx plus b, you would need to subtract 2x. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 3. If you plug a 1 in there, negative 2 plus 3 is 1. If you plug a 2 in there, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, plus 3 is negative 1. So you are going down by 2 each time. Over 0 up 3, over 1 up 1, over 2 down 1. This is your slope of over 1 down 2. And you could also add in the over 1.5 up 0, although we don't usually plot, not right on a corner grid. But you could continue this over 1 down 2, over 1 down 2, over 1 down 2. So the dot should be here, the dot should be here. So my line is like totally going off. The next one, x and y intercept. If you plug 0 in for x, this would be gone. Divide by 2, y would be negative 2. If you plug 0 in for y, this would be gone. Negative 3x equals negative 4, so that would be dividing by negative 3 4/3. Kind of a yucky number. So let's go ahead and solve for y. Get the y alone. You're going to add 3x to both sides. So 2y equals 3x minus 4. And then you would divide by 2. So y equals 3/2 x minus 2. What that means is you start at 2, and then this is your rise over your run. So you would go over 2 up 3, over 2 up 3. In fact, if you plug 2 in, you can test this out. 3/2 times 2 is 3, and 3 minus 2 is 1. And then you could just do that again, over 2 up 3. Sometimes that's easier than actually plugging in the points. And graphing over 4/3 up 0 is probably not the best thing to do. But there are 3 points. So now it says if the equations are in the form ax plus by equals c, we know it would be linear because this is called standard form. And we can go from standard form to y equals mx plus b form by isolating the y. And we've been doing this. You would subtract the ax, and then you would divide by b. So y equals your slope times x plus your y-intercept. So that's a line. So those two equations are both linear equations. And we already did change this one into y equals mx plus b. But the only way to use a graphing calculator is to put this in y equals mx plus b. So let's go ahead and do that, and then I'll pop up the calculator. 10y equals negative 5x plus 600. Then when we divided everything by 10, we had y equals negative 1/2 x plus 60. So if you wanted to see that on a calculator, you would, right here. You would clear your calculator, second plus 712. You would go to y equals and type in negative, you could do 0.5 or you could put 1/2 in parentheses, x plus 60. Again, the window right next to the y equals is set from negative 10 to 10. So maybe you could go from 0 to 10 counting by 1. And if you plug in 0, you get 60. And so the y max could be 60, and it's going down by 1/2 every single time. So the y min could be, it doesn't have to be that much less than 60, because if you're going down by 1/2, then after you've gone 10, you've only gone down 5, if that makes any sense. So if you hit graph, we should maybe change the window for the x to go a lot more points, maybe even 60 points. And if you're going from 0 to 60, it might be better to count by 5s. And then you're getting that negative 1/2 slope. Starting at 60, a negative 1/2 slope. So hopefully that is making some beautiful sense. In essence, that's what we've been doing the last couple days, and we will pick up with this soon. Have a lovely night.